And a lot going on in Badger land. Hope everyone had a good Easter. Everyone who celebrates it. And we're turning our attention back to football. 2025 season. We've already been over the fact that this is arguably Wisconsin's most difficult schedule on paper in the last 30 years. Sounds like hyperbole, doesn't it? But when you actually look with the benefit of hindsight at those slates, certainly going back 20 years, anything under Chris or Bielema, and stack it up against what we're looking at in 2025. Maybe take a shot before you do that, because it's some rough stuff, guys. But the corollary and the flip side of something being rough is having great opportunity to do something meaningful, something special. You know what's meaningful and special? Click and like and subscribe on Old Scary Alvarez's podcast. When y'all do that, magical things happen. Like it actually gets put into algorithms for some people, which is super fun. So if you want to knock the PJ Flex show off of rotation with Old Scary Alvarez, help a brother out. Do this together as a team. So I want to look at the 2025 schedule and decide which game would be the most important win. Okay. Luke Fickell's won some games. Not enough, but he's won some. But what he does not have yet is a signature win. His 2 years at Wisconsin. He had signature wins at Cincinnati, but we don't care about those. Trust me, I've been educated by many a Badger fan that what happened at Cincinnati is irrelevant. So we're not going to talk about it anymore. But we are going to talk about the last 2 seasons. Had some real close calls. Had a bit of a slugfest with Ohio State in 2023. Had a eminently winnable game with Oregon in 2024. I probably should have won. And Penn State, I wouldn't say we had him on the ropes, so we definitely had him for a while. Till the foot came off the gas pedal in the fourth quarter. So let's take a look at this schedule. And I'm going to give you a few different choices, and then I'll tell you which one I think is the game. Road Alabama. It's the first behemoth we have on the schedule next year. Take a trip down to Tuscaloosa to face what will almost certainly be a top 10, if not top 5 Bama squad. They don't have quite the same cachet without Saban there, but they're going to be okay. They're going to be breaking in a new quarterback, but not shockingly, there's going to be a roster full of 4-star, 5-star kids and chock full of NFL talent. And I'm going to go on a limb here and guess that game is not going to be at 11 a.m. Just going to throw that one out there. Not that they need the advantage, but I think it's probably going to be an afternoon game or a night game. Okay, so first big challenge of Wisconsin in the fall, breaking in a new quarterback, new starting running back, whole bunch of new linemen, at least 2 rather. New guys on the defense. It's they played Miami. I believe Miami's the week before. That's a really quality MAC team, but it's jumping up a level. So what would a win over Alabama in Tuscaloosa in an intra conference battle, SEC versus Big Ten? What would that mean for Wisconsin? Mean a lot. It would mean an awful lot. The fact that it is not a Big Ten game, the fact that it's against an SEC power, the fact that it's against a blue blood, the fact that it's on the road, the fact that it almost certainly will be in some sort of prime time or prime slot leads me to believe that a case can be made for this being the most important win of the season if they can get it. It'd be mammoth. And unlike some of these other games, it's happening early enough in the season, right at the front end, where the confidence and momentum that Wisconsin would gain from that game would have a disproportionately large benefit for the team, given how much of the schedule remains. So, yeah, that's the case I'm making. Now, the counter argument, obviously, it's not a Big Ten game, doesn't count in conference standings. It's early, so that's the other flip side of it. It's an early game; it doesn't mean as much. Some cases can be made there, but I'm going to throw that out there right off the bat that a win over Alabama in Tuscaloosa might be my pick. How about going up to Eugene and playing what will? It's hard to know exactly what they'll be, but it'll be a very good Oregon team. Again, they have Daddy Phil Knight with the open checkbook out there in the portal. There's going to be no lack of talent on the field for the Ducks. All right, and they also recruited at a very high level. They have a nice coach. Dylan Gabriel's not going to be there anymore, but they will have a good team out in that field. There's not going to be any wanting for talent in whatever stupid, ridiculous combination of yellow and green they happen to be wearing that day up in Eugene. So we got a conference game against a highly likely conference contender in the Oregon Ducks, a team with great recent success, a team that was a 1 seed or a bye and number 1 overall seed in last year's college football playoff. That's a tough one. It's going to be a very, very tough, challenging road game for Wisconsin. What does a win mean? Well, a win would be friggin' huge. If for nothing else, it'll shut Oregon Duck fans up. I know that's not the only standard we use to gauge whether a win is important, but it's a good first one. And if their coach shuts his clam hole up too, all the better. All the better. So that's another one. It doesn't, in my opinion, have quite the cachet of an Alabama win on the road, but it does have a Big Ten conference win that Alabama does not have. So there is value there. So I'm going to put a check next to that one. I think I probably tipped my hand as to whether I think Bama's better or that, but important. Ohio State. Camp Randall. And what is absolutely, without any question, going to be Wisconsin's premier marquee home game of 2025. Just an absolute circus. Now, will Ohio State be the defending champion? Ohio State be as good next year? Probably not, but they're going to be an elite team, almost certainly. So that's going to be a top 10 game. And there's some extra layers here. We've had some close ones. We've had some real blowouts since the last time Wisconsin beat Ohio State in 2010. J.J. Watt was still a Badger. The long since retired J.J. Watt was still a Badger the last time Wisconsin beat the Buckeyes in 2010. Real nice win over number 1 Ohio State team. Since then, I believe we're 0-8. It might be 0-9. Had some close ones, but they've also run us to the woodshed a few times too. Well, anyway, we'll have them, and that's going to be a night game in Camp Randall. Kids will probably get there on time. It's going to be just a banger, absolute banger. Big Ten win. Going to have a ton of recruits there, almost certainly. Jump around will be hopping if the game's close, which it should be, hopefully. But I think, and again, I'm going to go back and do my conclusion, but this tipping my hand here, probably the clubhouse leader. Probably the clubhouse leader. And I'm going to throw you two more here, two more wild cards. Okay. Iowa at home. Some reasons are similar to Ohio State. Some reasons are different, but you got a home game that's going to be very hyped against a fairly traditional rival, more traditional rival than the Buckeyes, and some team you've beat in the modern era, but a team that has manhandled you the last 3 times they played. Hasn't been close. One of the worst losses of 2024 was there in Iowa City. It's a program that you have traditionally used as a gauge for where your program is. And most, if not, not all, but most years over the last 20, 25 years, Wisconsin has been on the right side of that. But not lately. They play tough. They play hard. They punt the hell out of the ball. Yeah, I got to give credit where credit's due, right? But this is they're going to have a new transfer quarterback from FCS, and look, this will be a solid Iowa team. Ain't going to be the same team they had last year. It's not going to be as good, but it's going to be a solid team. But boy, a case can be made for that one too. Because losing one of our traditional rivals, losing a fourth in a row to them, bad. Don't know what the hell that was. It was almost freestyle in there. And I'm going to throw one more on here. And it's not so much of the glory of the victory and how good it would feel as losing this, how bad things would be if we lose. And that is the Minnesota Golden Gophers game up in Minneapolis to end the season. It is bad enough to have lost 3 games in 4 years to college football's most okayest coach, PJ Fleck. Oh, look, he's on the camera again. That's a shocker. I wonder why. But to lose 4 games in 5 seasons to PJ Fleck, which is what would happen if Wisconsin loses up in Minneapolis at that tiny little bandbox that they somehow built tiny because they don't think they have enough fans to fill a real stadium. I don't want to say it would undo anything good that happened in the season because that's not true. But boy, would that leave a bad taste in the mouth of Badger fans to lose that one. I'm tempted only because of my distaste for the Minnesota Gophers and their fan base to elevate this one in the context of our argument to the top position. It's awfully tempting. It is awfully tempting because losing this game is so horrible that it cannot happen. But anyway, is that enough drama for you? So those are my 5 choices. Okay. Ohio State at home, Iowa at home, at Minnesota, at Oregon, and at Alabama. I got to pick one. Scarabras has to pick one. But anyway, someone's honking. They're honking at me. You see old Scarabras out in the street. Hey. Oh, that's okay. I'm used to my fans just honking at me. Great to see you. You be you. Anyway, I have to make that choice. And that choice is the Ohio State Buckeyes. Beating the defending national champion, Ohio State Buckeyes, in Camp Randall next fall, or this upcoming fall, I guess we're in 2025 now, aren't we? Is the most important win of the season. Would be the most important win of the season. It would be the most signature of signature wins that Luke Fickell could possibly have. Layer on the bookending of an ex-Ohio State player, ex-Ohio State assistant coach, ex-Ohio State head coach. Buckeye through and through that bleeds Buckeye red. Finally getting that monkey off his back of not having a big win with Wisconsin by taking down his own team There's something delicious about that. And the fact that we haven't beat Ohio State since 2010, it's disgusting. I've had enough, and it's time to change that. So there it is. Would love to hear your choices in the comments. And hey, it's possible there's a choice on this list that wasn't one of the five I even selected. I mean, some of you might think beating Burt Bielema at home is the win. I think it's an important game, but I think as far as signature wins go, I'm going to stick with beating the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ryan Day. We'll get the fire Ryan Day watch on again because that's how bad it would be if they lose to Wisconsin. Anyway, throw your favorites in the comments. Great seeing you again. And Scary Alvarez, it's been long been rumored, but I am out.